रिकॉर्डिंग भी चालू अब कर दीजिए।
जस्ट मिनट सर, बस 1 मिनट का समय दीजिए।
दीपक जी रिकॉर्डिंग चालू कर दीजिए और सेशन को स्टार्ट कर दीजिए।
जी सर, 1 मिनट।
सब लोग अपना अपना म्यूट करके रखेंगे, सिर्फ दीपक जी और डीके सर और विजय जी का चालू रहेगा अभी, और बाकी सब म्यूट कर लेंगे क्योंकि अब रिकॉर्डिंग होगा।
ठीक।
Good evening, everyone. I am Deepak Kumar Vishwakarma, STNC, Kalasraya Saraswati Vidya Mandir. Today we organize a in-house training program. I would like to call Mr. Vijay Kumar Mishra ji to introduce our principal sir and our today's resource person. Vijay Mishra sir ji.
Very good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes sir, yes sir, are you audible?
Respected principal sir, assistant principal Mr. Manoj Kumar Singh ji, today's resource person Dr. DK sir, a resource coordinator Mr. Deepak Vishwakarma ji, today's technical expert Mr. Neeraj Kumar Singh sir, and all the teachers and trainees. Today we have once again assembled virtually the in-house training session. Today's today's expert is Dr. DK sir, and his topic is New Education Policy 2020. We all have heard a lot about New Education Policy 2020. It is the first comprehensive education policy of the 21st century. We have heard a lot. 5, 3, 4, and India is going to become an educational hub, and we are once again on the track of becoming the spiritual guru of the world. But we have simply heard or read a little. We have got a golden chance to get benefited from this session. Our expert, today's expert is Dr. DK sir, and without taking much of the time, and I would simply hand over the whole proceedings to Dr. DK sir, so that he dive deep into the topic and get us benefited out of it.
Okay, thank you very much, Vijay sir.
Thank you, sir.
So today in-house training on the topic National Education Policy 2020 is going to start. First of all, before I start the policies, a little bit about the history of this National Education Policy. Although we are living in the 21st century, and India, as we know, is a very rich country so far as its culture is concerned. The history of India goes back to the Vedic era. In Vedic age, we can find that what was the mode of education at that time? What was the mode of education at that time? In the earlier times, the mode of education was guru system, disciple, guru and disciple used to study in the Gurukul, and the education was imparted through a system of oral tradition. Everything passed from guru to shishya through oral tradition. And the main objective of the education was to get salvation, to get and to become a better human being. This system continued for a certain time as things progressed. We can see that education system also changed, and Varna based education system came into force. Varna based means the Brahmin used to get education related to Vedas and Upanishads. The Kshatriya used to got education about the warfare, and the Vaishyas used to get education about business, and Sudra used to get education about manual skills and vocational education, about which we will also be discussing in national education policy. So this system continues, Varna-based education continued for a certain time. But after certain time, this also got changed. When we come to the Vedic age and later in the Gupta age, we find a marked difference in the mode of education. Now, this Varna no longer was in existence. There was a transformation in education. The decentralization has taken place now. Now anybody can get any type of education in the society. And so big universities also came into existence. We know about Nalanda University, where Buddhist education was given to the students who used to come and study there. This also got changed as the history moves to the Mughal era. In the Mughal era, there is a development of science and art, which are both linked together. And the influence of Arabic and Persian language came into existence in the education system. So our Hindu culture, our Hindu system of education got the backsheet. This continued till the colonial era of the British started. And what the Britishers, when they started their education policy, they had only one thing in mind, that they wanted to create a type of people known as clerks who will be serving their own ends, who will be serving the purpose of the Britishers in India. So they brought this English education in India. Now, further also this rich cultural heritage of India declined. And when we got independence in 1947, we find that many attempts had been made by various commission. Mudaliar Commission came into existence, 1947, 1948. Radhakrishnan Commission came into existence, and they discussed about bringing about changes in the education system to improve the education system in India. There was a large scale of illiterate people in India, how to make them literate. A lot of thought was going on in the minds of the thinkers in India. So gradually things started getting changed. And for the first time in 1968, we had the first national policy of India. And this national policy of India continued for about 20 years. In 1986, we had the second education policy of India. So there was a huge gap of 20 years. And in between 1986 and 2020, there were many national curriculum framework was in existence in 75, 1988. Attempts were made to make the education system more strengthened, but things were not happening as it was designed, because we are living in the 21st century and the education system has to change accordingly. So there was a need to have an education policy which will suit to our 21st century needs. The skills which will be there in the existence has to be incorporated in this national education policy. So with this background came our national education policy 2020. After a long discussion with a lot of stakeholders all over the countries, even common people were also contacted and their viewpoint were also incorporated in this. So this is how national education policy came into existence. And the key points here, which was emphasized in this national education policy, was equity, quality, affordability, and accountability, and access to the education. Access to the education was to be provided to each and every section of the society. And with this background, the vision, now we will know about the vision of this national education policy. With what vision was it established? The vision, in the first point in the vision, is to develop an education system deeply rooted in Indian ethos. I talked about how Indian ethos got deteriorated during past time. We needed an education policy deeply rooted in Indian ethos and capability to provide the key point, high quality education. High quality education. A quality education is to be provided at the school and college and university level to all the students. And for this, we will have to get ready. The curriculum and pedagogy has to be structured accordingly. And this pedagogy and curriculum had three things in their consideration. First, our allegiance towards fundamental duties. Often we talk about fundamental rights. This is our right, as inscribed in the Constitution of India. We talk about Constitution of India and fundamental rights, but we never talk much about fundamental duties. These fundamental duties will be there in the national education policy, which will develop a deep bonding with the country to make us more aware of our fundamental duty and work for the development of the country. We are still in the vision. The third point in the vision is to develop a sense of pride and respect for the country and for human rights. Respect for our country, which has not been there till now. We must be proud of our country. We must be proud of our cultural heritage. So this has to be taken into consideration, and development, through sustainable development, we can become global citizen. This is the vision through which national education policy has been framed. Now we will come to key principles of national education policy. What are the key steps? As you can see in the slide, key principles have been given. The very first principle is respect for diversity and local context in all curriculum, pedagogy, and policy. Respect for diversity. India, as we know, is a diverse country. There are many languages spoken here. There are many religions there. There are many cultural diversity there. But despite of that, we are one Indians. So through pedagogy, this feeling of oneness is to be inculcated and developed. The second principle is equity and inclusion. On inclusion, we had earlier seminar, but this equity and inclusion is to be provided. Not a single student belonging to any strata of the society is to be left behind in this new national education policy. The third point is community participation, means encouragement, facilitation for philanthropic, private, and community participation. This is very important point, my dear friends. Philanthropic, those who are very much interested in the development of the society, those who are ready to work for the society, not just for their financial end, but for the development of society. They are for philanthropic. So what we are going to see in the national education policy, more and more schools are going to come to be affiliated. The schools will get affiliation by CBSE, ICSE board, and whatever board is Delhi board, whatever board is there, they are ready to give to new schools. So in the coming years, what we will see, the growth of new affiliated schools coming into the existence by philanthropic person who are ready to work for the development of education in India. The next point is the use of technology. This in teaching and learning, removing language barriers for Divyang students. Divyang is the term coined by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who told that we should call a person with any disability Divyang, not Viklang. And for them also, national education policy has many things in store, and they are going to get special attention in the national education policy. The next principle is emphasis on conceptual understanding rather than rote learning. This is very important point, my dear friends. Rote learning, which used to be one of the key principles in the earlier ages of education in India, when Guru Shishya Parampara was there, through rote learning, the disciple used to learn and recite everything. But this rote learning system of education is no longer suitable today. And so this has been given less importance in the national education policy. Now, what is given importance? The importance on conceptual understanding. Each and every student must know that they understand the concept more easily, and that will be done through education system, national education system, in which is that each and every student gets conceptual knowledge of the things taught in the class. And rote learning, just for the sake of examination, has taken a back seat. What used to happen till now, that students used to learn everything by heart and vomit in the examination. This is no longer going to be existence in the national education policy. Things are going to change. Secondly, unique capabilities. Each and every student in this world is born with certain uniqueness. And this capability has to be captured at the school level only. And it needs to be inculcated and developed. Uniqueness of a child. Some child is unique in playing, some is unique in singing, some in other things. We must respect each and every student's capability. Each one born here is born with some certain special qualities, and we need to understand this. So this is the another principle. And the next is critical thinking and creativity. The thinking level also needs to be changed. Now the emphasis will be on critical thinking and to develop creativity to develop in them the logical decision making and develop innovative ideas in the students. They will be encouraged to do so. The curriculum will be framed in such a way that new innovative ideas will start flowing from the students right from early age. Right from early age. And the next thing that is very much talked about is the assessment system. What will be the assessment system? See, the assessment system is also going to change. There will be a regular assessment system in the examination. Not one assessment at the end of the session, and semester-wise assessment system, as we have listened from certain experts that something like this is going to be existence, and students will be evaluated throughout the year. They will be evaluated not only by the teacher. Students even are there to evaluate one another also. One student will judge another student. This system is going to be extended. This will be given marks. The peer group, this is called peer evaluation. Peer evaluation will be there. The teacher's evaluation will be there. And a continuous form of evaluation will continue to exist. Now we will move to the salient feature of stages in school. This is the next phase, salient features of stages in school. We know a lot about these stages and much discussed earlier also. Many of us are very much aware of it, that 10 plus 2 plus 3 system will no longer be in existence. What is going to change? It is going to change in the 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 system. And this is going to remain in the existence for a long, long time now. The first stage, the 5, which we call foundation stage. 5 years will be there, KG, LKG, UKG, class 1 and class 2. So up to class 2, it is called foundation stage. It will be called foundation stage. And in this foundation stage, play activity and based learning will be there. Early childhood care and education will be provided. And what the students are supposed to do at this level, they will focus on good behavior, courtesy, ethics, personal and public hygiene, cleanliness. These basic things will be taught to the students at the early age in the schools by the teachers. So this is going to be implemented very soon, and there will be focus on teamwork and cooperation. After this, there will be a preparatory stage from class 3 to class 5. There will be a gradual transition from play-based learning to more formal classroom learning. Till now, there was learning which was play-based, but classroom learning will come into existence now. There will be introduction of subjects, including physical education, language, science, mathematics. Such subjects will come into the curriculum after class 3, 4, and 5. These things will be taught, and emphasis will be on 3 things: reading, writing, and speaking. These 3 faculties will be given importance in class 3, 4, and 5. So this is called preparatory stage. Now will come middle stage from class 6 to 8. What is going to be there? There will be subject-oriented pedagogical and curricular methodology. Subject teachers for learner discuss the more abstract concept in each subject across the science, mathematics, art, social science, and humanities. Means the abstract concept now will be taught to the students from class 6 to 8. Till now, they didn't have any idea about abstract concept. In all the subjects, including science, mathematics, social science, in every faculty, the abstract concepts will be taught. Then will come the high school secondary stage from class 9 to class 12. This will be called 4 years of multidisciplinary study. What is going to happen here? Greater depth, greater critical thinking, greater attention to life aspiration. These will be given importance at this stage. Greater flexibility and student choice. Exposure to more subject and enable greater flexibility, more frequent assessment of modules. So what is going to happen at this stage, that is in the last 2 years of high school, is very interesting that these subject-wise streams like science, commerce, and art, which is there at the +2 level, that is going to vanish. That will no longer will remain in existence. Then what will happen? The students will have the choice to opt for the subject. For example, a student who is very much interested in physics can opt for music also. He can opt for physical sciences also, physical education also. So a student of commerce, he is having accounts and BSc, can opt for Hindi subject also. He can opt for mathematics also. So this system will have multi flexibility, you can show. There will be a lot of flexibility here. But we should not be misguided by the fact that only the students are will be choosing any subject from anywhere. No, there will be a pool of subjects. For example, there will be group A of the subjects, group B of the subjects, group C of the subjects, and the students will choose, suppose, either two groups. And in every group, those subjects will be opted by the students. So through group-wise selection of the subjects will be there at this stage. Now come to teachers and teachers education. That is very important thing that in national education policy, National Professional Standard for Teachers (NPST) will be developed by this year only, 2022. There will be National Professional Standards for Teachers. The professional standard will be reviewed and revised. This standard will be revised again in 2030. And thereafter, every 10 years, this will be revised on the basis of rigorous analysis of the efficacy of the system. Then quality 4-year integrated B.Ed programs will be there. 4 years B.Ed programs will be there. Teacher eligibility test, TET, which we call it TET, that will be there. Sharing of teachers across school. This is very important and interesting thing, that all the affiliated schools are going to have exchange of teachers. Suppose there are 10 or 12 CBSE affiliated school and ICSE board affiliated school. Now they can exchange teachers across subjects. You may go to another school, you may go to DAV, you may go to St. Clair's, you may go to BR International and teach your subjects, and teachers from those schools will come to your school to teach. So this way, there will be an exchange of good teachers across the school. This is very interesting thing which is going to happen in the National Education Policy 2020, sharing of teachers across the school. And another thing, school and school complexes will have local eminent person, expert. If schools can hire experts of any subject to have, they will be called master instructor. They will come, they will have a special lecture in the school. They will motivate the students to perform better. They will get the students equipped with new ideas. And this is going to happen in this policy. Teachers education gradually be moved 2020 into multidisciplinary college and universities, multidisciplinary higher education institute offering 4-year in-class integrated B.Ed. 4-year integrated B.Ed will be existence. So this is how things are going to change for the teachers and teachers education in the 2020. Now we will move to ECCE, Early Childhood Care and Education. Next slide, please. Early Childhood Care and Education, the foundation of learning. As we know that foundation stage has been given a lot of importance in the national education policy. So ensuring that, what is the goal of it? Ensuring that all children entering grade 1 are school ready by 2030. By 2030, every student must attend the school. And their motor development is the development of hand-eye coordination and how things are working for them, and cognitive development, socio-emotional development, cultural artistic development, and the development of communication, early language, literacy, numeracy, the concept of number, literacy rate, early languages. These will be taught at the early childhood care and education. And the special teachers will be there. That is the main thing. Normal teachers who will be eligible to teach such students at the early stage. So there will be a 6-month course, a special course for the teachers. if they have done the 6-month course, and there will be also a 12-month course, 1-year course that will be called diploma. So those teachers who are qualified either 6 months or have done diploma course, they are qualified teachers to teach these students. So this is going to happen for the foundation stage students. Come to the next slide, please. Attainment of foundation literacy and numeracy by grade 3 in mission mode. Which is very important thing that with mission mode, foundation literacy and numeracy. Literacy may able to read, write, and speak, and numeracy means concept of number will be there. So these all things will have to be done at the early stage up to by grade 3. Students will know about this, and this has been given an importance of national mission. This is national mission. A student must read, write, must be able to read, must be able to write, must be able to speak by the time he reaches grade 3. So the importance we can see that this has been given national importance, national mission to develop the foundation skills of the students. School libraries will be developed accordingly, and digital library, the concept of digital library has also come into force for the students. And this is how and the national repository of high quality teaching, how to store, how to impart high quality education at the school. For this purpose, the resources like Diksha portal and other portals have been developed. We are already getting many training sessions on Diksha also. So this is how it will get developed. Now we come to NACSC, that is called National Assessment Center for School Education. The center will advise the school boards regarding new assessment pattern and latest researches, how the schools are going to implement the national education policy. For this purpose, a National Assessment Center for School Education is going to be established, and they will advise the schools regarding assessment pattern, how to assess the student, latest researches, what is the latest research going on there, promoting collaboration between the school boards. Now, this is very important thing. There are many boards existing in India today: CBSE, ICSE, Delhi board, other boards, state boards, Rajasthan board, MP board, Jharkhand board, Bihar board. So these all boards are going to have a collaboration with them. They will work in one cohesion and work for the betterment of the schools. Their curriculum will be that the students who leaves one board and joins another board they won't suffer much. So this is going to happen in the national education policy. And about shifting their assessment patterns towards meeting the skill requirements of the 21st century and consonance with the stated objectives and policy. The skill and development of the 21st century needs. So earlier I talked why there was a need for national education policy. 20 years hence now, the next 20, 30 years, the type of job is going to change. If students are not taught robotics in the school, if they are not taught about coding in the schools, they are not going to compete at the international and national level. So this is going to happen. That students will have to equip themselves with the latest things happening in the world. Now, the students are getting ready for 21st century skills required for the 21st century. Only by studying in the previous mode, we can't get jobs now. So things are changing. Future job requires national new education policy, and hence we have here a national education policy which has depth and fuses us with enthusiasm to put our more effort into this system. Now we come to transforming assessment for students' development. As I told you that assessment system are also going to change. What is the aim of assessment? As I discussed earlier, that from rote memorization skill to formative is more competency assessment. What competency is developed in the student? This is to be judged. What skill he has learned, that is to be judged, and not by just writing and rote learning is to be encouraged now. Skill development in the students to meet the needs of the 21st century is the need of the hour, and assessment system is also going to change accordingly. Test higher order skills such as analysis, critical thinking, and conceptual clarity. Now the teacher are not to judge how the student has performed in the exams, but they are to judge whether the student has got logical, analytical skill or not, whether it applies the things or not. This is to be judged. This is to be assessed. Conceptual clarity, that is to be judged. How is think creatively and critically, whether his creative faculty is well developed or not, that is to be assessed in the national education policy. This will be the underlying principle of assessment. This principle, the assessment of the student will take place henceforth in the national education policy. Now we come to the next, encouraging 21st century skills in the classroom. 21st century skills, what will be there? Like skills required is digital literacy. Digital literacy has to be there in every student, must have the knowledge of computer, solving skill, whether it's at the school level, the curriculum will be framed in such a way that you can tell whether he is able to solve any problem or not. Life has got many problems. If at the school level he is not taught to solve these smaller problems, how can he solve the bigger problems of life? This is a skill which is to be developed at the school level, and each and every student is going to be benefited by it. The communication skill, able communication at the two levels, at the writing level and at the speaking level, both are to be developed by the student. Critical thinking, creativity, I have already discussed. The 21st century skills also need health and fitness. Health and fitness has also been given a lot of importance in, and this is 21st century classroom. My dear friends, that physical fitness has been given a lot of importance. Ethics and scientific temper. Next important thing is ethics. What is right, what is wrong. The students will be taught what things are good for them, what good things are good for the society, what things are good for your family. These will be taught at the school level, the knowledge of ethics through various stories at the early level. We are going through motivational speeches through which student will be taught what is right, what is wrong, and to develop in the student scientific temper. Scientific temper also needs to be developed. What is scientific temper? Don't have a biased attitude toward anything. Don't have a superstitious attitude towards anything. If you are to learn anything, you must have scientific temper. Then only proper conceptual understanding will be there in the student. So these 21st century skills are going to be there, taught in the school level, Now we are coming to the next, that is health education. As I told you that health education has been given a lot of importance. Training in health, including preventive health. mental health and well-being. Not only physical health has been given in importance. How students can remain emotionally and mentally healthy, that has also been given importance here. Nutrition, whether he's getting proper diet or not, whether the diet he eats, suppose many junk food are is being preferred by the student, which is not very good for their mental and physical health, because the nutrition required by the body, balanced diet has to be there in each and every student. So this also will be taken care of in national education policy. Personal and public hygiene and first aid. The knowledge of first aid has to be there in every student. Every student must know how to provide first aid, public hygiene, not to make your street dirty, not to make your house dirty, not to throw the the wastages from your house here and there, which can lead to many problems. And along with this, the detrimental and damaging effects of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Students will be taught at the earlier stage what damage can it do. Students at the school level start smoking. What is the harm of such thing? How can this harm their health? Any tobacco product, any other drug, if they are not warned about it, if they are not taught about it, they are liable to be fall into the trap of such uh, bad habits. Now we will come to the next slide, that is emphasis on vocational education. 10-day bagless period during class 6 to 8 for a student to intern with local vocational expert. From class grade 6 to 8, there will be 10 days. The students will have to spend 10 days bagless. What they are supposed to do in these 10 days? They have to spend the 10 days with the expert in carpenters, gardeners, potters, and artists. If someone is good at painting, 10 day he will attend such classes, bagless classes. What 10 day whole year he is going to spend, he is going to learn carpentry, he is going to learn the gardener's work, he is going to learn potter's work, making pot and all things, and all other similar skills which are there. From class 6 to 8, this is going to happen. 10 days the student will spend with the experts in any field, vocational expert, you can call it vocational expert. Next is very important point. My dear friends, I would like to say this is going to happen for the first time. This point is, we are still on vocational education. This point is internship opportunity to learn vocational subjects through class 6 and 12. Internship opportunities. I'm dealing with point number 2, vocational course. Vocational courses through online mode will be there, but internship, what is internship? Now the students, what is happening today, who are learning in engineering colleges, they have to spend some time in a reputed firm for certain period, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. They have to do internship, then only they will be given the degree of engineering at the end of their course. But now the system is going to change. From class 6 to 12, the students will have internship opportunities. The student who is in class 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12, they will get opportunity to visit any company, any institution where they can spend their internship, just like engineering students. That is going to be the national education policy for the first time to emphasize the vocational. This is called vocationalization of education. And this is going to help the students a lot, who have students who has developed some skill in certain vocation. They will get trained in that vocation and they will become an expert in that vocation. After doing their schooling, they will definitely get benefited out of it. So what is the aim of the government? The aim of the government is by 2025, by the year 2025, at least 50% of the learners shall have exposure to vocational education. At the school level from class 6 to 8 and onwards, students, 50% of the students will get exposure to it. It is a must. So after the vocational education, we are moving to the next section, that is mathematics and computational thinking. Increase emphasis throughout the school years, starting with foundation stage. Use of variety of innovative methods, including regular use of puzzles and games. This is very important point. Now, in the classes of mathematics and such subjects where concept is required, personal ability is to be used. The use of puzzles, games that make thinking activities in coding in middle stage. At the middle stage, also coding, the concept of coding will be taught to the student. We know coding and mathematics are interlinked. If a student is not very good at mathematics, it will be very difficult for him to do the coding in computer. So both are going to be given importance here at the middle stages, and through puzzles and games, they will learn this beautiful art. Now we come to the next point, enrichment activities. There will be various activities conducted by CBSE and other boards, which are going to be very beneficial for the students, like CBSE Science Challenge. In all the schools of CBSE, there will be a science challenge. There will be Heritage India quiz. These are the activities. All over India level, there will be quiz tournament, Aryabhatta Ganit Challenge, Science Exhibition, Khelo India, expression services, reading challenge. So these sort of competitions which will enrich the students, which will make them a better personality, better individual, are going to be there in the different curriculum of the school. Now we are moving to the next levels, that is curtailing dropout rates and ensuring universal access to education at all levels. Dropout rate is very important thing that is that has been taken care of in the national education policy. That the students drop out from the school after reading certain years, after spending certain years in the schools. To bring children back to schools. So the purpose here is national education policy will be to bring children back to school and to prevent children dropping out of the following steps will be taken. What step? To provide regular trained teachers at each stage. At the 4 stages are discussed. At each stage, only trained teachers will be there at the school. Special care shall be taken to ensure that no school remain deficient on infrastructural support. Every school has to make their infrastructure very strong, and emphasis has been given on the development of infrastructure at the school level. This is very important thing, and schools have started taking care of this phenomenon. And universal participation in school by carefully tracking students as well as their learning level. Tracking, follow students. Students if it doesn't remain in contact with the teachers, then he will start doing something else. So at each and every hour of his life, there has to be a contact of teacher from somewhere or somehow. At all level, he feels that the presence of teacher is there. He is not going to do him anything wrong in this world. The teacher has to penetrate into the life of the student. So this is to be done, and enrolling them. If at any moment he thinks of leaving the school or dropping out and doing business and something like this, he will be immediately to main board and Next is community partnership in terms of expertise and infrastructure. So community partnership, that is very important thing. The participation of community. A school cannot run only through teachers and students. The participation of community, the local community, influential people, they have to be incorporated in the school level. As we can see that at our school also, there is a committee which belong to the local people, experts from their own field, and they are aiding and advising and guiding the school to function better. This is going to happen. And the next thing is scope of school education will be broadened to facilitate multiple pathways to learning, involving both formal and non-formal. There will be multiple pathways, formal learning and informal learning. Formal learning is done through schools and informal learning is done through formal methods where formality is not required. One can become a friend to the students and teach them. This is going to happen. And need not be formal that you will always be teaching the students as a teacher, but become a friend. And this way you can teach the students. And for this purpose, open and distance learning programming, Open National Institute of Open Schooling and state open schools will be expanded. States level open schooling, NIOS, which is already there in the existence, they will be strengthened. This system will be strengthened, and state open schools will be expanded. The state open school will also be expanded and strengthened. So this was all about in today's session. With this, I'm going to end the session. I hope you must have enjoyed this session because many new things have come up in the discussion, and I have tried my level best to present you to make it more interesting and enjoyable for you. And if you have any question, you may ask me. If any, I will try my level best to satisfy you. Is there any question? Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
So, anyone, if you have any question related to topic, please ask to Mr. Dikesha. Otherwise, we will. Okay. So now I would like to call Mr. Vijay Kumar Mishra sir to please conclude this today's training program, and after that we will end this training session. Vijay sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, DK sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you from the inner core of my heart. Your session is so nice. And you started from Vedic age, Gurukul system. And I noted down some points. The education policy 2020, the main points are equity, access, inclusion, and affordability. Education will be affordable to everybody, as this education policy highlights. Fundamental duties are more stressed in education policy, as you said. And respect for India is a subcontinent, and diversity is most should be respected as this policy focus. And you mentioned use of technology, critical thinking and creativity, conceptual understanding, assessment system has also going to change drastically. It will be now more transparent and more competency based, as you said. And teachers to be shared across schools, and there will be master instructor to train at times. And as far as vocational education is concerned, you said 50% of students to get vocational exposure from class 6. So everything has come in your session, sir. And I would say maybe it is jokingly, someone had some journalist had asked President Donald Trump, what do you think about the Taj Mahal? So he had said, okay, I know there are two types of persons live in the world, those who have seen the Taj and those who have not seen the Taj. Now I can say there are two types of teachers live in our schools, those who have taken the session seriously and those who have not taken. So thank you very much, sir, once again.
Thank you, everyone. I am requesting you to please fill the Google form to attend to mark our attendance sheet. It is already sent in our chat box, or it can also be sent our school WhatsApp group. Now, everyone, meeting.
Okay. Thank you, DK sir. What's a nice session, sir. I impressed for this session, sir. What's a lovely session. Thank you, sir. Okay, please mark your attendance.